Tonight on Newswatch, a major breakthrough in the Middle East, what the preliminary phases of the ceasefire look like. Plus, business owners slap Governor DeWine with a lawsuit over his ban on intoxicating hemp products. And in sports, Week 8 of high school football kicks off tomorrow. Get a preview of this week's 2-minute drill. Newswatch starts right now. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Serenity Prophet, and welcome to Newswatch. The Israel Security Cabinet is meeting right now to vote on the first phase of a ceasefire plan with Hamas. The hope for a peace after a 2-year-long war has sparked celebrations, but sticking points remain between the two sides. Michael Yoshida reports.
Celebration on the streets of Israel and Gaza.
Today, after 2 years of suffering, hunger, and humiliation, we feel reborn.
A cautious optimism following a historic announcement. Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire plan.
So we welcome it as a first step, and we realize that we need not to relax.
The deal will allow for the release of all hostages held by Hamas in Gaza, a partial withdrawal of Israeli troops, and the release of some Palestinian prisoners from Israel.
The first withdrawal or redeployment will happen immediately in order to make the first phase happen. With regard to other parts, they are conditional. There are parts that Hamas must do.
Hamas and its allies still hold 48 hostages in Gaza, all but one held since the deadly October 7th attack that instigated the war. The Israeli government believes at least 20 of the remaining hostages are alive. U.S. President Donald Trump said the hostages are likely to be released early next week.
It's been 2 years now, and we are hoping that this is actually going to be the last step.
During a cabinet meeting Thursday, President Trump looked to Gaza's future.
Gaza is going to be slowly redone.
Still, work remains to be done to reach long-term peace. Sticking points include Gaza's post-war governance and Israel's demands for Hamas's disarmament. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida.
There's a major breakthrough in the Middle East. President Donald Trump made a social media post announcing both Israel and Hamas are agreeing to Phase 1 of his 20-point proposal to end the war in Gaza. President Trump says this means all hostages are coming home soon.
As you know, last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done. We secured the release of all of the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday.
However, there are still questions about how and when a lasting deal could come together. Trump's announcement of the agreement did not address some sticking points in the proposal, including Hamas, disarmament, and the future governance of Gaza. So moving on to weather, it's been feeling a lot like fall lately, so let's hear what Emily has to say.
Serenity, you are absolutely right. It is starting to feel like fall outside, and it's starting to look like fall outside. We are looking at our fall foliage estimate right now. This is for today. We have some moderate color going on in southeast Ohio a little bit, but for right now, a lot of the state is still in this lighter color change. And we're expecting the peak color change to happen around October 20th. And we're expecting nice weather so far, so definitely take the time to get outside, go for a walk, and enjoy the fall colors that are starting to happen. Right now, it's about 62 degrees outside with clear skies, so it's going to be a very nice day the rest of today, but it's quite a big difference from what we've seen last week. Even last night, our low for the night was about 39 degrees, and we saw this throughout the state in the upper 30s, and a lot of that is really different from what we saw last week. Our highs were in the 80s versus this week, our highs are in the 70s. Our overnights last week were in the 55-degree range, and this week we're in the upper 30s, so it's definitely starting to feel like fall outside and across the state where we're seeing those moderate 60-degree temperatures going on. Now, a lot of this is due to this high pressure we have throughout the area that we're seeing this nice weather, but be sure to stay tuned for my full forecast to take a look at what we can expect this weekend.
Thanks, Emily. Newswatch reporter Charlie Elenfield joins us in Benton County for a historic celebration.
Yeah, thanks, Serenity. Maud Collins was the first sheriff, or the first female sheriff in the history of Benton County and the state of Ohio, and now she's forever a part of their history. On the 100th anniversary of her appointment, Pamela Kello painted the mural, which is now displayed on the Vinton County Courthouse. Vinton County raised $20,000 for the mural and held a festival commemorating the day. Historians, members of the Vinton County administration, and the artist herself spoke about the larger-than-life figure.
I'm just so proud to be from here, and also to be able to say that we are the county that had the first female sheriff. I mean, at the point that she was appointed, women only had the right to vote for, I think, like 5 or 6 years.
Activities will continue until 8 and will include food, vendors, and more. Reporting live in Vinton County, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld.
Thanks for the great work. Get home safe. 3 hemp businesses are hitting Governor Mike DeWine with a lawsuit over his latest executive order. Yesterday, DeWine signed an executive order banning the sale of intoxicating hemp products such as low-level THC and Delta-8 gummies. Now, Ohio brewers are pushing back. The lawsuit alleges hemp products are not adulterated, and DeWine's basis for evoking an emergency was calling hemp products adulterated. That emergency declaration gives retailers statewide until Tuesday to clear their shelves of any products fitting that definition, which will then be under a 90-day ban. The State Division of Fire Marshals is rolling out a new grant for smaller fire stations to upgrade their radio communication system. The total budget for this program is a $4 million recipient, and recipients will be eligible for up to $50,000. Through the grant, fire departments can purchase equipment or services that are integrated into a multi-agency radio communication system. Online applications for the grant are open until October 25th. A new business is set to take over the now closed Chillicothe paper mill. The Illinois-based U.S. Medical Glove Company is currently closing on the sale of the site. The move could bring around 550 likely ununion jobs in the area. Manufacturing could start as soon as 3 weeks from today. U.S. Senator Bernie Moreno is set to join other federal and local leaders in Chillicothe tomorrow to make an announcement about the mill. The mill shut down in August, leaving more than 700 workers without a job. The Ohio Restricting Commission could meet soon to consider other bipartisan map. The commission is supposed to approve a new map by the end of the month. Last month, the state legislature failed to pass a map proposed by Democrats before the deadline. Republicans have yet to propose their own map. If the commission fails to pass once again, the state legislature will take over the process. Lawmakers will then have until November 30th to pass a new map. Counties across Southeast Ohio can now expand programs to help people in recovery earn jobs. Federal grants from the Appalachian Region Commission, or ARC, will fund these recovery to workforce programs. The programs support local economies in Adam, Brown, and Scioto counties, which have been hit hard by the opioid crisis. The Community Action Committee of Pike County and Shawnee State University will each receive $500,000 from the ARC grants. We all have digital copies of important documents, and in today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan talks about why it is important to keep digital copies and ways to talk to your aging parents about navigating the digital world.
The vast majority of hospitals and doctors' offices are now using online portals to help patients manage appointments, look up test results, and pay bills. But if you're not digitally savvy, it can be overwhelming to navigate.
We realize people need extra help for this.
Tom Camber is the executive director at the Older Adults Technology Services. It's part of the American Association of Retired Persons, known as AARP, and offers a variety of free courses in person and online through the website seniorplanet.org. It helps older patients understand how to use these patient portals and how to protect their information online.
A lot of it is understanding what's there and what you can take advantage of. People use them for setting up their appointments, but they don't use them for managing their medications.
AARP also has resources for how to talk to your aging parents about keeping digital copies of important documents like birth certificates, copies of a driver's license, health insurance, documents about health issues, and information about prescriptions.
Start by asking questions. What have you already done? What are your plans? What's important as we get into the next phase of our lives here? And how can I I help you succeed with this stuff?
Camber says older adults should also keep digital copies of vital financial information like bank statements, investments, credit card information, home insurance, and any deeds.
The best place for them is stored in the cloud with password protections.
Camber recommends they share access to specific information with a spouse, child, accountant, or financial planner. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Coming up, an expert explains how donating plasma can save lives. And a new study finds a commonly prescribed opioid is not effective for chronic pain.
Today has been the ideal fall day, but will it last? Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out.
How did these towns change America?
I'm Jeffrey Baer, and I'll be your guide
as we explore 10 towns that changed the face of city planning. From Philadelphia to Salt Lake City to Portland's Pearl District.
Find out which towns made the list
of 10 towns that changed America.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, we're heading back to the Southwest for an hour of Vintage Roadshow from Arizona.
Oh,
is that good?
That's wonderful. Thank you.
I've been in the business for 40 years, never seen this.
Maybe you need to start wearing it again.
No way.
Have these desert treasures held their value after 15 years? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow, Vintage Phoenix, Hour 1.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
In some ways, Portsmouth was one of the last small cities to field a team and get a franchise. What was kind of extraordinary about Portsmouth was it was able to field an incredible team. For a brief moment in the sun, a little sweet spot that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship, but they put together the team that ultimately did win the championship in 1935 in Detroit.
Seven weeks down, 7 weeks to go. We have just surpassed the halfway mark on season 26, and the stakes are getting higher. Conferences are close to being decided, and for some, playoff hopes are becoming a reality. Lots of big games to keep your eyes on this week. Eastern and Trimble matchup in a game with big playoff implications, and Notre Dame and Eastern clash for the SOC1. All that and more this week because there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron boys.
La Nina makes its return to the Central Pacific Ocean, and this typically happens when certain parts of the Pacific cool by half a degree Celsius. And during the La Nina, there is a change in wind shear, which can call for more and bigger storms, especially later in the year. AP News reporters that is not likely to be very strong, however, and it may disappear in the next few months. Well, I don't know about you, but I know this morning when I woke up, I was so excited. It was nice and cold. I got to pull out my Uggs for the first time this week.
I was right there with you. I was so excited because sweatshirt season and sweater season, as you can tell, is one of my favorite seasons. I love being able to go outside and you're not standing there. It's not muggy. It's not summer. And I'm very excited because like a La Nina also means that we're expecting to see some cooler winters. So I don't know how you feel about winter, but I love a cold winter.
No, I love fall. I love just fall. I think winter snow, no, but fall, yes. Yeah.
And the leaves are starting to change too. It's starting to look like fall outside and it's starting to feel like fall outside. And right now we are still seeing those fall conditions outside. Right now it's about 62 degrees. We are seeing some very nice clear skies as well. It's not super breezy. We had quite a few gusts earlier in the day today, but for the most part that's starting to die down as conditions are also starting to chill out, just like that fall conditions outside. Excuse me. Right now, our clouds are really staying off towards the east coast, and our area is very clear, and a lot of that is due to that high pressure that's sitting over the Great Lakes area. Now, this high pressure is also pulling down some cooler air from Canada, which is helping to cool down our conditions, and it is also moving later in the year, so those two are both working together to give us this lovely weather that we all absolutely enjoy this fall season. So we're going to be seeing these mid-60 degrees for the next few days and bumping up to the 70s a little bit, but fortunately for us, we're not going to be reaching back into the 80s at all this year. Our current forecasts are looking at that. Tonight, we're going to be seeing an overnight low of about 39 degrees with clear skies. And the main reason we are seeing such a big difference between our daytime conditions and our overnight conditions are due to these clear skies. Now, during the day, when we don't have any cloud coverage, it allows for the sun to really heat everything up. And then at night, there's nothing to keep that heat in. So the clouds typically act as a layer of insulation when they're present. But since we have these clear skies and since they're not present, we're not going to be seeing any of that going on. But what we will be seeing, since we are expecting cooler conditions, is this frost advisory for central and northern Ohio. They're going to be seeing cooler conditions similar to us. That's going to be about the mid-30s. And we have a special weather statement throughout Athens, but that's simply talking about some patchy frost that could happen. So if you have some vegetables or any plants that are outside, it is advised to cover them up or take them inside so that way they don't die off from this frost. Now, we are also expecting tonight that high pressure to start to move towards the east coast, but that means we are still going to see the effects of it in our area as it's still going to be reaching down into the region. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we're still going to be seeing that high pressure in our sky conditions. We're going to be seeing sunny skies and a high of 71 degrees and an overnight low of 44. So it's going to be very similar to what we're seeing today as that high pressure continues to stay through the area. Now, what we are looking at developing is this low pressure system and this cold front. And typically when we talk about these, we typically see rain associated with it. But for us, that rain is going to stay to the north into the south. So it's just going to be some partly cloudy skies pushing through the area on Saturday. But for the most part, it's going to be very, very nice these next coming days. We're going to be in the mid-70s, mid to low 70s for the next few days. A slight drop when that cold front passes through Sunday night and Monday. But for the most part, everything's going to be very comfortable. It's definitely a great week to get outside, go for a walk, check out that fall foliage and any other fall festivities such as the pumpkin patch or any apple orchards around your area. And it's going to be very nice to do that. Very pretty outside. We're expecting very nice conditions, not a lot of wind either. And our overnight conditions, Wednesday is going to be our highest day with about 52 degrees going into Thursday, but for the most part, things are going to be cooling down this month.
Thanks, Emily. Experts say that many blood donors may not know much about giving plasma, but it's a critical part of helping people with certain medical disorders. It's also used in emergencies. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how plasma-derived therapy helps sustain life.
When he started elementary school, Jana Matthews says her son kept getting a cold that would always end in pneumonia, antibiotics, hospitalizations, even the removal of his adenoids didn't help.
It was devastating, and there was that mom instinct in my belly that something else was wrong.
At 7 years old, Matthews says her son was diagnosed with common variable immune deficiency, or CVID. His body doesn't produce enough antibodies to fight infection. She says doctors treated him with human plasma.
When I tell you it was night and day, within 24 hours, he was a normal 7-year-old boy running around the house, wrestling with his brother and our dog. And it was like a plant that finally got sunlight and water.
These therapies depend on donations. Giving plasma is different from donating whole blood. The Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association says it's collected through a machine that separates the plasma from a healthy donor's blood. The remaining blood components are then returned to the donor.
The process takes about an hour. And has about the same side effects as general blood donation. You might feel a little dizzy, maybe a little fatigued the day after.
Now, at age 23, Matthew's son has received plasma every week since his diagnosis.
My son is now thriving and living amongst the rest of us and achieving as an adult, and it just seems incredible.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A commonly prescribed opioid may not be doing much to ease long-term pain. A study led by Dr. Janice Jacobson found that the benefit of tramadol are, quote, questionable or at the very least uncertain. Tramadol can have serious side effects as well, such as chest pain, heart disease, or even congestive heart failure. Along with that is it's classified as an opioid, which allows for the risk of addictive side effects as well. Jacobson recommends that patients explore alternatives if possible before prescribing tramadol. The CDC is taking on recommendations by a new group of vaccine advisors. The advisors appointed by the U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recommended that COVID-19 shots are not necessary for everyone, leaving the choice up to patients. Before this, U.S. health officials recommended a yearly booster for all Americans ages 6 months or older. Kennedy announced in May that COVID-19 vaccines were no longer recommended for healthy children or pregnant women. And in his new group of appointees came to this decision last month. It'll now be more expensive to pay a visit to Disney. New prices vary depending on what park and time of the year you go. The most expensive single-day, single-park ticket falls during the holiday. In Florida, it's a 5% hike to $209 plus tax to visit the Magic Kingdom. For Disneyland resorts in California, the price peak ticket goes up to $224. Its lowest price single-day ticket, $119 plus tax for Animal Kingdom Park, will stay the same price, but there are some discounted opportunities. Disney World is offering new discounts of up to $250 of each night. Tempo USA recalls nearly 47,000 of its Ambino electric pressure cookers. The lid on these items can be opened before enough steam pressure is released, posing a potential burn risk for users. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, at least 8 severe burn injuries have been reported. The cookers were sold nationwide from January 2016 through December 2019 at Aldi retail stores. If you have one, you can return it to the store for a refund. More information is available at the cpsc.gov.
Next in sports, we got the 2-minute drill coming up, and we'll take a look at some of the playoff races and conference clashes.
Yeah, Evan, a lot of big races and a lot to break down on this week's edition, including an undefeated 2 squads for our game of the week. Stay tuned for more.
And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on X, Instagram, and YouTube, and stay tuned for a new episode of the Wrap-Up coming up Saturday.
Marlee Matlin was the youngest and only deaf person to win an Oscar for Best Actress, a champion for deaf actors. She now takes you on her life's journey, the lows and the highs in Marlee Matlin, Not Alone Anymore, on American Masters.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Every modern constitution has explicit gender equality protections except the United States.
More women than ever before were sworn into the Virginia General Assembly, vowing to reverse 46 years of failing to support the Equal Rights Amendment.
This is a vote of a lifetime. The question is, what side of history do you want to fall on?
Ratified, Monday, October 20th on PBS and the PBS app.
Feel the wonder wherever we are.
It was kind of a moment of enlightenment.
So come get lost with me. We'll see the great unknown.
It's home to me. Wow, that's beautiful.
We could be the greatest story ever told.
When we all work together, we make change. I still believe in that.
I'm excited. You my hero, you know that, right?
Thank you.
Most people believe that doctors are healers.
Love is why we're here.
Life goes fast,
Our story is everyone's story.
but it's just the start.
Week 8 is here, and the playoff races are heating up. We're going to take a look at some regions and close conference battle here in the 740. And to break it down with me is Josh Herner.
Evan, it's another week of the 2-minute drill, and we're going to start off by looking at some playoff spots. So let's start that timer right now, and we're going to first look inside Region 19.
Yeah, you can see that Wheelersburg and Ironton at the top. They seem to be locked into Region 19, and can't wait to see a rematch possibly from there.
Oh, that would absolutely be great. Portsmouth and Morgan are 2 teams fighting for that final spot in the region. Portsmouth has Ironton Week 10, and Morgan has Sheridan this week. 2 tall tasks for these 2 teams. But let's switch it on over now to Region 11.
This is a tough region. You got defending state champion Bishop Watterson in there, and some of these top teams in the MSL appear to be locked in. And speaking of Sheraton, they're there at the bottom at 92%, and they could just most likely get the 12th seed.
Yeah, Sheridan's supposed to sneak in as of right now, according to Pastor. It'll be interesting to see what they do. And moving on ahead to now the MVL big standings, they're locked in with Tri-Valley for a fight for the top again.
Yeah, they're tied up at the top. These two teams are always at the top. For the past 20 years, it's either Tri-Valley or Sheridan. Tri-Valley's got the last 2 years, but they'll face off here in Week 9.
Yeah, and don't count out Philo and Morgan just yet. It seems like it's going to be a 4-team race to the top. We're going to have to see who comes out on top. Speaking of another conference that has a 4-team race to the top, the SOC1s felt like a 4-team race all season long.
2 7-0 teams at the top there with Eastern and Portsmouth Notre Dame, but Sims Valley not far behind. They got beat by Eastern last week, but they're still lurking with a chance to hop in of the top of the SOC.
Yeah, the SOC1's been fun all season long. A lot of high-flying offenses. Can't count out South Gallia either. Only 1 loss in conference, a couple wins in the past few weeks. They could easily move up to the top, but we talked about those 2 unbeatens, Evan, and that's our game of the week. Eastern versus Portsmouth Notre Dame, a battle of 2 high-flying offenses.
Yeah, first time both teams have been undefeated this season, and Eastern has a 29 straight regular season wins. That's the 4th best in the state.
Yeah, and you got to talk about the QBs for both these teams. Starting off for Eric Manley Jr. for Eastern, he has 21 total touchdowns, just 1 interception on the season thus far. Luke Cassidy, since taking over in his new role at QB, has also shined for the Titans. Evan, that's all we have this week, but another week looking into some playoff regions. It's going to be fun to see who comes out on top down the stretch.
It's going to be a great week, Josh. And to catch up on make sure to catch up on episode 8 of Gridiron Glory this Friday night at 11:30. Back to you, Serenity.
Still ahead, 4 Lion Cubs make their debut in the public in Denver, Colorado.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross.
We were sitting on an incredible story, and my first thought was, why are we not telling this?
It's just amazing. You get to see the studio and all the original artifacts.
It's like any other room until you know the story. Bob Ross painted here. Suddenly, this space becomes magical.
This is a great new destination for Bob Ross fans all over.
The Bob Ross experience is a home for Bob Ross.
Any Bob fan would love it.
Saturday at 9 on WOUB.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist. A big reason for this? My teachers.
Look at you! You're doing so good!
Art in school is what made me want to get to school every day. I've had such a good time doing this with you. I just think joy has got to be a part of education.
You ready for class?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
There are 4 new furry friends in Colorado. The Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance introduced 4 African lion cubs to the public on Thursday. The 1 boy and 3 girls can be currently seen outside for 2 hours a day. Zoo officials say their time in the fresh air will extend once the quartets become more accustomed to their space. They are the 4th generation of lions born in the zoo within that decade.
The weather this week, consistency is key with this weather. We're going to be in the mid-70s for the next few days with our overnight conditions in the mid to upper 40s, inching into the 50s about next week, but skies are looking fairly clear for the most of it. A couple clouds are going to come in beginning next week, but for the most part, sunny skies and a great time to get outside and enjoy the fall weather.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily and me, I'm Serenity Prophet. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.